you must also know your rights well, and you must know the rules, and you must know the right thing. And also leaders must know what they are supposed to do. So I believe for those who are leading and those who are being led, both you have a duty to make sure things are working in the right way. Leaders lead badly sometimes because citizens don't know their right and they don't know what is the right thing. So we also, all of us as Kenyans, if we want progress, we must pull up our socks. It is time to converse around matters of leadership. With me in studio again is David Kamau Wamadhu. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very
Always
much.
Always a joy to have you.
Same here.
On EBN TV.
Yes.
And because of the way you have grips with the issues that pertain to leadership.
Yes.
I know your area is more on strategic management, but you are really well versed with the issues of leadership and all that. And I believe management is management.
Yes, that is true.
We thank God that you are here and you found a short while to be with us. I know we are coming a little bit late, and it's because of the traffic jam, especially for those people who live on the other side of Mombasa Road. And it looks like the expressway is there, but also accessing expressway itself is becoming a problem. And our very old Mombasa Road has not been made in a way that it can allow free. You'll find like this morning, traffic jam is stretching kilometers and kilometers away. And I don't know what needs to be done, but I think the contractor must be told something.
Yeah, I think one of the main challenges still, I know the time they opened the express highway, there are still some areas which are not complete. So because it is not 100% complete, you'd get those kind of challenges. But I think once it is completed, we'd also see where it really needs to be done some structural changes. And also the other thing I'm fighting is that there are so many Kenyans who have never even used the expressway. So there is that change. You see, they're changing the mindset. So many people feel it is quite expensive. So I think still they are struggling on the other issue. So I think those could be some
and it was bad, very bad this morning.
Getting to express highway, I think that's where there is a bit of a challenge. And I believe after assessing it for some time, they will be able to see what they can do. We pray that the government will pursue this matter and make sure the contractor does the right thing, especially where the roads are junctioning or joining together. I think the contractor did not do finishes on those junctions, but there seems to be another problem in this country. Every time the police appear in a junction, there's supposed to be a traffic jam. When they are not there, the traffic will move. When they come on site, traffic builds up. What's happening with our traffic? Do they need further training on traffic or handling traffic? Because I think it's really a problem, because where the traffic men appear, there is going to be traffic jam. The day they will not be there, the traffic will be flowing. You know, the same thing that you are saying, I have watched it. You see, like where there are the lights. If we can use the rights themselves, it is easier to control. But what happens is that they can block a certain load for a very long time. And therefore there will be a build-up.
And that build-up goes and obstructs other roads on another junction.
So I think because we are going digital, technology is our thing, I think that human intervention should be reduced in such a big way, so that at least everybody knows it is my time to go. So the police, even if they are there, they should be there. If there is someone who is flouting the rules, then they take action on that person. But I think they should allow the smooth flow in terms of how the rights are working.
And I thought we should urge the people handling the traffic in the city of Nairobi, at least to go for more traffic lights in every junction and every roundabout, and let the traffic be controlled by the traffic lights. Full stop, and let the police not interfere. I think that way we may have a free flow of so the government must spend in making sure they put traffic lights in every place. Wow, we must pick it up there and talk about leadership this morning, and talking about goal-oriented leadership.
Correct.
Now we may not delve very much into the goings on on our current political landscape.
Yes, correct.
Although from time to time we are going to be referring to what is happening in our country.
Yes, true.
But I think now we talk about leadership proper.
Correct.
And we are today talking about goal-oriented leadership. And it looks like if there's going to be development, if there's going to be result, leaders have to be goal-oriented.
Yes.
Can you affirm this and talk a little bit about it?
Thank you very much. This is quite a good topic. And I will start my discussion with some words that were echoed by John Maxwell.
Okay, yeah.
And John Maxwell said something. He said, a goal-oriented leader is the one who knows the way, who goes the way, and who shows the way.
Okay.
So in terms of that sentence, it is quite loaded. Because it is actually talking about knowing the way.
Knowing the way
is actually having a vision and goals.
Yes.
Because without knowing exactly where you are taking the people, it would be very difficult for you even to articulate anything. Why you find many people not doing anything, it is because they did not know their purpose. Why is it where I am at such a time as this?
Okay.
What is it that I am supposed to do? And that's why he talked about knowing your way. So you must have a vision, you must have objectives, and you must have goals. And therefore, a leader who is going to be able to win in this particular time is a one who exactly knows the specifics. What is it that I am required to do to bring a change in the people? Because you are not leading things. You are changing people. And people will always be looking for a change. And therefore, you must have a specific goal. You must have something that is driving you and saying, when I have done this, I have actually touched the life of my people. Okay. And that is actually now knowing your way.
A leader that does not achieve goals, has that leader succeeded?
He has not succeeded. You know why he has not succeeded? You can't just be a leader in a vacuum. There must be objectives. There must be goals. There must be what is driving you in terms of saying, when I have done this, at least my leadership is actually being felt. Because if we don't feel you, because sometimes you see, people just come. And they get into leadership. And we said it last week. Some of the people get into the leadership, and when they get into the position, they don't know what to do. Because at the end of the day, they did not have goals, they did not have objectives. And therefore, if there is nothing that you are achieving, then we cannot term you as a leader. So it is actually a failure in terms of leadership. And that's what I realized when the CS were being vetted in this country. What happened is that a panel sat down and asked the relevant questions. You want to lead this ministry. What do you understand about this ministry? What are some of the things that you are going to do to make this ministry to be functional in a good way? So if you are not going to be able to bring a change, even in terms of your ministry, then you cannot be termed as having achieved in your leadership goals.
And what would you say, because sometimes you find leaders coming into office and it's like all they have achieved is to have the office. But when it comes to what they are supposed to achieve in that office, it's like it takes the backstage. And I don't know what you can say, because right now I know there are leaders that are settling into offices. And sometimes you may find there's nothing on their forefront. All they are thinking of is, I've gotten this office, now it is about the new car, the new residence, and all that, and the power trappings. And I think you have to address leaders coming into office today.
Actually, Reverend, that is something which is a serious thing. And we have seen it happening in our current leadership. Especially, and when we talk about leadership, we are not just talking about the government. We are also talking even about corporates, organizations. Because we have seen corporates come down because we are having the people who are leading. They do not understand exactly where they are taking the organizations or where they are taking the people. And in the political arena, we have seen quite a number of people who get into leadership because Basically, they have the money, and the people who are down here, you just entice them with the money.
Okay.
And there is something that was happening, and I think the people, the parliament, actually, they were supposed to enact this as laws.
Yeah.
You remember there was a capping which was supposed to be put in terms of if it is a position for MCA,
yeah,
how much money can you spend?
In the campaign.
In the campaign.
Yeah.
If it is actually like the MP.
The MP.
How much money can you spend in the campaign? So there is going to be a fair playground.
Yeah.
So leaders will not get into positions because they have money,
yeah,
but they will get into positions because they have the ideas, they have goals, they have wits, and they are somewhere that they are able to take people.
That's right.
And I think one of the things I would say that really need to change is that capping is very important. It gets to a point whereby we are saying if you spend more than this money, you will tell us exactly who has given you that authority. And it is very easy for you actually to know whether you are spending that money or not.
Yeah.
Because there is the intelligence that we have. In every meeting that you go, there is intelligence. People can be able to see the size of the number of the people who are there and exactly how much money is being given. Because people will always say, I was given 200 shillings. I was given 50.
Yeah.
Such kind of things. I think if we can move from politics of money and greed,
yes,
I believe we can have now substantive leaders who will be able to drive the agendas of the people, and that is what we are looking for.
Okay.
That change is very necessary to come into terms of our leaderships.
Wonderful. And really it must now go down strongly into the minds of these people that have been given leadership positions, that you will never change this country or change people unless you achieve goals that are set and they are people oriented to improve the lives of people.
Correct.
But let's quickly run into what posture should that leader have. What should be his like priorities, what should be like his style and things like that. Where what should be the posture of a leader that is goal oriented?
So that's also a very good question, and I think for a goal oriented leader, there are two attributes. One is internal perspective, and there is the external perspective.
Internal perspective and external perspective. Please carry on.
When we get to the internal perspective, those are your inherent strengths. We are looking at the inherent strength in terms of, number one, we always have issues in this country when we talk about integrity, the chapter 6 of the Constitution.
Yes.
One of the inherent things that is supposed to be in a leader is actually that integrity level should be high. Yes. Accountability, responsibility, they need to be a priority in the leader. Such that you find, and I am happy, I will quote something which is not actually in terms of leadership, but it is actually getting into the leadership. You realize that there are some few people in Wilson Airport.
Yes.
Some of their guests, they came, and actually they left some dollars.
Okay,
You saw it, eh?
Yeah, I saw, they lost money.
They lost money.
Yeah.
And these three people, they kept that money until they got the real owner.
Yeah.
To the extent that the visitors who had come
and it was not little money.
Yes, it was over 2 million.
It was it was a lot of money because
So you see, these people, when they came and they lost the money, for them to have been called, and they said, and they equated Kenya with South Africa. They said they have gone also to other countries. They have lost their luggages and all that, and it is only in Kenya that they were able to recover their money. So what we are saying, that kind of a leadership that we are talking about, someone should have that kind of a high integrity, in the sense that we can trust you with the CDF money.
That's right.
Because right now what is happening with the leadership, they actually come in, and it happens, it's like they are coming in now to recoup back what they spent in terms of their campaigns. And that's why we are saying that capping is important. So that integrity, that leader, the posture, the integrity should be inherent in them. internal, that I cannot go and do something that is against my people.
Yeah.
If I am given a responsibility, it is not me. It is the people that I serve.
Yeah.
So it has to get to that level that the leaders have to differentiate that it is not more to do with them. It is the people who have put them in the office.
Yeah.
So integrity is one of the things that I feel they must have. Then number two is what we call the passion and the drive. And we talked about it the other time.
Yeah, yeah.
They should be passionate about the people.
Yeah.
If you are not changing the life of the people, you can always say, I think I am not. And I saw it in the Prime Minister for the UK. She got to a point, 45 days.
The lady?
Yes, the lady.
Yeah, trust.
Yes. She got to a point and she said, look, guys, it is a good, prestigious position, but I think I am not serving my people. And that is the commitment we really need as the posture, internal, that you are feeling, if I am not really adding value, there is no need for me to take this money.
And that is integrity.
Integrity.
Yes.
And that is what we are saying. This is actually one of the most powerful things. If we can have it in the leaders, it will be able to bring a change wherever we go. And therefore, these are some of the things we are saying. Integrity, you must also be a good planner.
Yeah.
And that is where, in terms of the visions we talked about the vision the other time.
Yes.
You cannot just get into leadership without a vision.
Yes.
Surely, where are you taking people? So you just get into leadership just because you had the power of money. It is actually something that you really need to tell yourself, I must build. You know, and that is now the external, in terms of, if for example you are given a position to be like a manager in a certain area, to be a leader in a certain area, you must make yourself to be better.
Yes.
Actually training yourself to be at that level.
Yeah.
And I would just quote it and say, like for you, let me use you for example.
Okay.
You are leading an organization.
That's right.
And that is the Blessed Hope Center.
Yeah.
That organization, and also the EBN, this one that we are in.
Yeah.
Do you know what has happened? You have sharpened your mind.
Yes.
Every other time that you are speaking to your people, you take time, you sit down, reflect, and think, what is it that I'm going to tell the people?
That's right.
And you listen, because for you, you have to listen from God.
Yes.
And God gives you something. And also you go down and do research and do so many other things, so that when you get to the people, you are relevant. So one of the other things that we are saying the leader must have is actually you must do the enrichment.
Yes.
The job enrichment.
Yes.
You are enriching what you do. It is not just a matter of sitting down and just go and picking the microphone and you start speaking to the people.
Yeah.
There is that process. Therefore, the leaders must allow themselves to get into that process, compare themselves with the peers.
Yeah.
And that is the external we are saying. People who is going to say, well, I can learn something from these people. So you keep on also learning from the other leaders, because even the Bible says, the iron what? Does what?
Sharpens iron.
Yes. So it has to get to a point whereby you are not just sitting. You want to improve yourself.
Yeah.
You want to understand more about leadership. But it cannot be an issue of just sitting down and you are not growing.
Yeah.
And therefore, where you are finding successful, like this ministry is successful,
yes,
it is because the leader is someone who is actually seeking out.
Yes.
And also seeking inside. It is inside out. So you are bringing all the combination, the strength from outside,
yes,
and the strength from the inside. And that's why you used to see some of the MCAs, even the MPs, it is only that that grid really came into. You can remember there used to be exchange programs, whereby you can go to another country, see what they do, and then you actually borrow the good things from that and come and bring them in. So these are the things that you will always find in leaders who really know what they are doing.
Yeah.
And these postures should be there, internal and external.
Yeah.
That is what is going to help us to move forward.
Okay. Now we must turn it now to our leadership right now. One of the area that Kenyans are getting so worried about is the new CSs. They have this big office. They have just come in, and they are touching all over the place, and it's like they have not taken time to study maybe the ministries, understand where their predecessors left them, left the ministries. They must know what is a problem and what is not a problem.
That is the thing.
But as it is, and I think I saw the Catholic bishops speaking about the same thing, because they are uttering sometimes irresponsible utterances.
Correct.
And it's like whatever they meet on the way, they must address it, and it becomes arbitrary. And I really want you to address this, especially the current situation. Why are they? Because like Korea goes to at the river, Bruiser storm there. He goes to another place, Bruiser storm there, and I think almost like 6 of the CSS have uttered the things that they needed to come later and apologize, and they say have been misquoted.
A very good observation.
Yes.
And I think the failure, it is actually good to put the way it is. We got a government.
Yeah.
And I think one of the issues that we talked about the other time is about our president. He took a lot of time actually being out of this country. You can remember there is a time that people were demanding for
the UN
president.
and all that.
So he had to go so many places. When actually the house was actually left, he left the house actually not in order. So what has happened with our CSs right now? And I think that is something that also we need to be very careful about, is that there is a need for planning and having strategic meetings with the CSs. What happens is that any CS must not go and speak their own voice. They must speak the voice of the government. And I think they are doing a lot of things without referring to, you see the heads. I think there is something, and that is something I would say it needs to be corrected, because it is quite a bad thing. You see, like now, like the minister, the CS for education. He goes somewhere and he says, look, we cannot be able to continue funding the universities.
Which has happened all the years in Kenya.
Now, he has an idea about what he is talking about, because he is saying the universities, they can get to a point whereby they start generating income for themselves. But that generation does not happen within a day. If you look at the Kenyatta University, they tried and they have tried and they are continuing. They are having quite a number. Even they have the
KTT,
all those things, the mortuaries and all that kind of things for generating the revenues. But still you are fighting that they are having a shortfall. So for a CS now to go and say and make such kind of a pronouncement, it is actually he is misguided. And I think there is really need, before they even go out, you know, when you are sending your troop out, there are some ground rules. That actually you agree. I don't think really they have had a session with the president and the team. You see the call.
And I think the first inaugural meeting for the cabinet happened yesterday. So those things they have been saying, maybe they were saying off the cuff, and maybe against the without any particular policy. They were not following any policy.
It is actually, let me tell you, it is more to do with what we call the emotional, the excitement. Right
that
now,
I'm the CS.
I am the CS now. And there is the way they think that people are going to measure you by how frequent you are on the air. And people are feeling that it is like you are working. And I can tell you, working is not necessarily when you are making pronouncement. It is where people are actually finding you are doing one small thing, and that small thing impacts into generations and the people. And I think they should not be in a hurry just to pronounce anything. Because I have seen quite a number of pronouncements. They make the pronouncement. Then yesterday I could see the CS for education again. Let me refer to him again. And now you are saying nobody should say that we have said that we are not going to fund the universities.
So now you see.
Those are the things we are saying. It is actually for them, if they want to win, let them come down, they sit together, they say these are the ground rules. If you have not researched, and that's why we started by saying researching. If you have not researched enough, don't pronounce until we are sure that what we are talking is in line with what the government is looking for.
Wonderful, wonderful. We have to take a short break and we'll be right back. Please, can you keep your views and your ideas coming through the streams? Just type your idea about the topic of discussion today, goal-oriented leadership. We take a short break. We'll be right back.
Kama ungekuwa wewe, ungetoa mtoto yule. Lakini kwa sababu mtu ambaye anaitwa Ibrahimu ni mwabudio halisi, mtumishi wa Mungu aliyejitoa bila kusukumwa, aliyejitoa bila gharama, aliyejitoa bila kuangalia watu watasema nini, aliyejitoa bila kuangalia umati. Bwana asifiwe sana. Ibrahimu akasema ya kwamba mimi nitamtoa mtoto wangu kwa sababu ya kumridhisha Bwana wangu, kwa sababu ya kutetea Ukristo halisi. Mungu ajua ya kwamba unampenda, Mungu ajua ya kwamba unamjali. Ni watu wangapi wametoa ahadi za uongo kanisani? Ni watu wangapi wamekosa kuenda kanisani kwa sababu ya mambo kama haya?
From Nairobi, Kenya, this is EBN TV.
Okay, we are back and we are glad that we are talking about achieving goals in leadership, and we have new leaders, and let's take our situation here in the country again. And the CSs are very important in implementing policies. They are very, very important. But yeah,
you should take, even if it is 3 hours, to sharpen your axe, rather than you continue actually cutting down the tree with a blunt axe.
Yeah,
because you'll use a lot of energy, and at the end of the day you'll not be able to achieve because of the fatigue.
Yeah.
So what they need to do is to sit down, they sharpen their axe, and sharpening the axe is more to do with their skills. Let them learn. Let them at least interact with the people who are also in the same ministry. So at that, when it comes to moving, they will move faster than when they did not learn.
And that is the question I want to ask you, because it's like if you are a leader and you are leading such an expansive organization like a ministry, don't you think you need to work with others? And as you begin to answer, I will want you to answer in a way that you can incorporate all of them. You need to work with others. There's no way a cabinet secretary can make an arbitrary statement. Correct. He has not consulted the PS. He has not consulted other key people. Like if it's ministry, there are directors of ministries and things like that. And working with others to achieve goals. I want you to address that one. But at the same time, keep it close to, sometimes when you think, if leaders are not careful, they can say things that will hinder the achievement of the goals they really want to bring to people, because they said things and they are finding it hard to retract what they said. Yeah.
Good. Two powerful questions there. One of the principle in terms of leadership is what we call being a team player.
Being a team player.
A team player.
That's important.
It is very important.
Yeah.
Because you say, they say,
yeah,
in a chain, when you have a chain, you are as strong as the weakest link in that chain.
Oh.
If, for example, you are actually saying, me, I'm very strong. The other people are not strong. But they are in the same chain. What you realize is that you are actually moving very fast, but the chain will cut where it is weak.
Yeah.
Therefore, what we are saying is that these leaders, they must be able to be team players if they are to achieve the goals.
Yeah.
Such that they will be gathering the information from different quarters. You come to the, like, as you have said, in the ministry, the only people who change is actually the CS and the principal secretaries.
Yeah.
All the other people, the directors, all the technical people who are working in the ministry, they are still there.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of information. And therefore, if you are to become a leader, goal-oriented leader, you must be able to sit and understand.
Yeah.
You cannot just start getting into things. You know, it is like where they say that you jump before looking.
Yeah.
You are actually jumping before looking, and then you get into the hole and you ask yourself, how did I get here?
Yeah.
If only you had taken time to look, it would have been very easy for you now to see there is a hole in front of me.
Yes.
I don't really need to go that direction. And that's why we say you must scan the environment. And that scanning the environment is getting to see everybody in the organization.
That's
because
right.
everyone has their strength and everyone has their weaknesses.
Yeah.
And you can actually look, and in the ministry, before even you say anything, and we said it even some times back, there is a need to do the SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
SWOT analysis is for persons, for organizations, for government, and all those things, and for ministry. This one, you need, for you to do a SWOT analysis, you have to get the teams.
Yeah.
You bring people together. So you ask yourself some few relevant questions. What is it that is so strong in this ministry? They will be able to answer you. What is it that we can be able to improve? They will be able to answer you. What are some of the challenges that we can be able to deal with them at this particular time? So it is not you. It is actually the team.
Yeah.
Because if you don't bring in the team,
Yeah.
it becomes very difficult.
Yeah.
The other issue is, if, for example, you take yourself into a ministry and you don't want to listen to the people, getting to the second question, you don't want to listen to the people. People will just sit back and say, let's sit, let's watch. And that is a bad position.
Yeah,
because
to find yourself in.
Yes, and that's why you say it becomes difficult in terms of implementing the policies. Because you are actually trying to drive things which are not going to work for you.
Yes.
There is one company I was in. Let me just now give a practical thing about myself. There is one company, I won't mention the name, but I was in that organization.
Yeah.
They had a structural change that they brought in the organization.
Yeah.
And what did they do? They brought managers from other regions to come to head the organization that I was in. There is one thing that they brought, and it was a good thing for it to be said, but it is not a thing that you can implement in this country. It is called back to basics. They come up with a principle, we call it back to basics. To basics.
Yeah.
So they wanted you now to get back to the basics. There are several questions they wanted you to be asking the customers. But the customers for this country, because of the one person we call Kenya Revenue Authority, they will never write. Then you ask Reverend Kavoi, where do you get all your money?
Yeah.
Many people, once you ask them that question, they will not deal with you.
They will not deal with
any other time. Because, you know, they are asking you, are you selling to me?
Yeah.
Or are you a KRA
collecting
agent? So what they did is, they came, they told the people.
That policy now has been rolled out.
Yes, they say this is exactly what we will always want you to come in. You go to the field, you come with a form which is filled. Now, what did we do?
Yeah.
We sat down and we told them, look, what you are asking here is going to bring the business down. Because we know this market, and this market cannot take what you are asking. What they said is that you are assisting church. You see, because they want really to be in that position and not to be challenged. So they did not work with the people, and that is the danger in terms of implementing. So what happens is that the salespeople, they started getting tired, and they got out of the organization. And I can tell you that back to basic has really brought that company down. In the sense that there is really no implementation. The numbers for sales, you are talking about 1 billion in a year. The number goes now to 100 million. Which is actually some of the things that you do without actually having to involve the people. And therefore, implementation of goals cannot really happen effectively if you don't involve the people who understand the systems.
In our case, David Kamau, and with the new CSs, I will want you to really, because I think people assume they know things, but when it comes to rubber touching tarmac, you find that it's not as people thought. And people keep on thinking that they know the SWOT analysis. And I will want you to go through the SWOT analysis, taking like the ministries, the government ministries that we have in Kenya, and what the new ECSs need to do in terms of SWOT analysis, so that now at the end of the day, they will achieve goals. Because they don't seem to know the challenges that are there, the opportunities that are there. They have not studied the situation to understand well. So I would like you, for the remaining minutes of this particular segment, to take my dear viewer through the SWOT analysis, and I believe somebody is applying the SWOT analysis. Somebody else is also going to pick it up, maybe a church leader, an institution leader, and they're going to be helped.
Thank you, Reverend. When we talk about the SWOT analysis, again, it is divided into two. That is the internal and the external. Most of the things actually are internal.
That's where you started, and I can see you have gone back there.
Yes. Because even the SWOT analysis is like that. There is the strength and the weaknesses. That is, you are looking internally and saying, what are the strengths in this ministry? One of the strengths in the ministry, if you really took time to understand, who have been in that ministry for quite some time, and they have built a lot of experience on that department. They understand very well in terms of the policy formulations and all that. They understand it very well. So you are saying we have at least a strength in terms of we have the capacity. The human resource capacity is good. So that is some of the things that you look into. What is it that is your strength? And I can say some of the strength is what we are talking. The human capital is actually some of the strength. Then you can look at now the weaknesses. Are people motivated? And you look at what is it that may be causing people not to be motivated. And that is where we are saying you have to sit down and understand the organization very well. Because you will not just understand the state of the organization by just moving up and down. There are things, all these policies, by the way, they are in the ministries. All these papers, they are in the ministry, which can be able to tell you and give an idea what are some of the things that people are feeling. Sometimes you can actually, in terms of getting now the internal, which is the strength 60 balance scorecard in terms of the appraisal. You are praising people.
You're doing well.
Yes, you are praising people on that, and you are able now with that. It is when we talk about the 360 appraisal system. We are saying the people from the down cadre can be able to appraise the people on the high cadre, and to get to know who are the people you have. What are your weak points? Those are the things that somebody who is just moving up and down, they will not be able to see them. But if you take time, you will be able to understand these are our core strengths. These are core weaknesses. And what we say in SWOT analysis, you actually realize your strength and you start working on your weaknesses. So if you are to implement goals, you start now actually addressing the weaknesses.
In our particular case, can we say the challenges that various ministries have? Challenges, you know. They could be maybe the budget allocation that they are given is always weak. Maybe it could be cartels, or it could be maybe suppliers, or it could be the problem somewhere where there is interference.
Correct.
Do we call them those challenges? Do we include them in the weaknesses, and then we begin to fix them before we move on to achieve the goals?
You've said very well.
Yeah.
You see, let's give a good example. Because in Kenya, we saw something like KEMSA.
Okay.
You know, the weakness was actually in the procurement, and what we started by saying, the grid.
Yeah.
Lack. And that's why you have seen quite an technology.
Yeah.
So you see now, those are the opportunity.
Yeah.
So you see now, those are the opportunities we are saying. We can actually be able to use a resource which is far.
Yeah.
In terms of treating some diseases.
Opportunities.
Correct, yes. There are so many, all those digital. And that's why and we were talking and we said the digital world is becoming very powerful.
Yeah.
In the sense that it is opening market everywhere. It is opening avenues everywhere.
Yeah.
If a ministry will not sit down and think about what is it that we can pick from a particular region.
Yeah.
It will be very difficult for them now to be able to operate and even to get goals being met. But if they really looked into all those things, they would say that we have a lot of skills than what we are talking about here.
Yeah.
So opportunities for skills is also available out there. But who is that who is going to see those opportunities? It is only a person who is going to sit down and start thinking and looking at what happens in other areas. Because those are some of the things which are happening, and they can help the CSs to be able to drive their ministry in the right direction.
Wow.
The other one, because I know
the threats now.
The threats.
Yes.
We get to the threats. They are quite about, the threats are many. And again, those are threats is we see how we can be able to work about them. There are some policies which are actually a threat.
Yeah.
There is something that is happening. Like now today we are talking about the drought.
Yeah.
The drought, when we talk about it, I was looking at in terms of what does it affect?
Yeah.
It is affecting quite a number of ministries. It is affecting quite a number of companies. And these are things they cannot say that they are going to close their eyes and not look at them.
Yeah.
I can give you just one example.
Yes, yes.
The drought situation.
The drought situation in the country. And of course, the direct ministry there is the Minister of Agriculture.
Yes.
Okay.
So when we look at the drought situation, do you know it is affecting every other ministry? Even not agriculture alone.
Yeah.
Because you are saying Kenya right now.
Yeah.
One, when you talk about women and we talk about children, when you talk about women and we talk about youth and women, in terms of the ministry, you talk about education in terms of the Ministry of Education, in the sense that you want schools 100% rollout in schools, but are you going to be able to do that 100% rollout with the situation that is there?
No.
The women will be waking up at 3 a.m. Going for several kilometers to
look
fetch
for water.
And now some of them will actually go with their children to fetch that water. So can you see the extent, the threats which are actually making even your goal was 100% rollout?
Yeah.
It is going to be affected by this national disaster, which is drought. So these are the things that we are going to look at, and we ask ourselves a question. How do we ensure that the people...
We are glad that you are watching the Leadership Challenge Show live on EBN TV this Friday morning, talking about goal-oriented leadership. And we have already said that if a leader does not achieve goals, then he cannot say he has succeeded. And so we have been discussing and conversing about matters on goal-oriented leadership. Welcome back. And David Kamau is together with us. We press on. Now, we have just finished dealing with the SWOT analysis. And the cabinet secretaries are out there speaking. And we know we have a president, and we have a very firm president.
Correct, yes.
And he's a detailed man. He's a detailed man, the president that we have. What do you think he should do to rein on his cabinet secretaries? Because some people, including some figures in opposition and some experts, have said the president must rein on these guys so that they stop making arbitrary statements.
Thank you very much, Leverett. One of the things that I think the president needs to do, he needs to have checks and balances. And that can only happen when they have strategic meetings. For NCS, they should be told that when you go and make pronouncement, it is after you have done due diligence. You have been given a nod in terms of the ministry. Let's say, for example, the Ministry of Education. There is something that we talk about, the stakeholders. The stakeholders actually includes very many people. There is actually the NAT, you know, all
the umbrella bodies.
The umbrella bodies. These guys have been in that ministry for quite some time. It is good to get views, get to understand what happens in a ministry, and then also cross-check with some few other people. And that is why it is important. Even in the organization, you cannot actually be running an organization without having a time to sit down and actually have a discussion about what you want to do. And I think the president, because I think he takes a lot of time and he studies a lot, and he will actually be getting the report. He really needs to alert his team. Because like what we have seen in the last 2 weeks is really not good for the president. It is actually not showing a very good picture. Because if your men are actually moving like that, today they are here, the other day they are there, it is not something very good. And it shows that they have not sat down to agree on one position. So I think the president really need to come out and say, look, guys, we have one front. We can only go, command can only come from one position. Really, it can't be. Some of the pronouncements, some are heavy. They really need to be done at the level of the president. But if, for example, they just go and make pronouncement, and again another person comes and say, no, it can't work. Do you know who looks bad? It is not them. It is the person who has put you in that position. You're actually serving under the president. And therefore they are making president to look bad. So I think it is very important for the president, as you started by saying, to be very firm on the CSs. That if you go and make a pronouncement without first of all thinking about the implication, and it brings a bit of some charges, that is actually something that can get you into trouble.
And because it is His Excellency President Ruto's government and his deputy, the others have been just given work to do to bring success to the government. So I want you to talk about the president bringing this team to be one team that is scoring one common goal, because whether it is in education, agriculture, whether it's about water, all this, it is one government, the government of President Ruto. And I really want you to see how that, synergy, that togetherness, pulling together, it can help in addressing a Kenyan situation.
What I realized, Leverett, is that the way this government was actually formed, the formation was right. Why? There is the president, there is the deputy president, and there is the prime chief minister.
The chief minister.
Why is the chief minister position? Why was it created? It is actually to coordinate and actually to be able to bring sanity in the ministries. If there is anything that is strong that they fight, that this one is lacking in the ministry,
Yeah.
they can now have the meetings with the chief minister.
Even without the president.
Even without the president.
Yeah.
And the chief minister would be able now to communicate to the president because at their level, that is the arc.
Yeah.
They can meet as many times as they want.
Yeah.
And they can say, look, this is what is happening in this ministry. These are some of the challenges they have faced.
Yeah.
And this is the way they feel that they need to address it.
Mm.
With the president, he has an advantage. He can tell his people, that is the NIS. He can tell his people, can you test the waters? I go and ask some few questions. If we did this, what would be the reaction of the people? And they will be able to get to see whether it will be positive or negative.
Yeah.
So that when now it comes to be pronounced, it becomes something that is a one front, as
Yeah.
you said. I will tell you one thing, and it is something which was difficult for the president, but
Yes.
he did it.
Yes, yes.
One of the thing is, there was the issue of UGA, and there was the issue of fuel.
Yeah.
It was one of the most difficult thing for him actually to declare that we will not give subsidy. I am telling you, if it was somebody who had not researched enough and people don't have confidence in what they are doing,
Yeah.
that issue would actually have been blown out of proportion. Right now, I know people are struggling, but they are believing in the president in the sense that there is something, and those are the goals we are saying, there is something that he is chasing which is going to make us now to settle.
Yeah.
That is one thing that is so confident in the hearts of the people, that within a certain time there is going to be sanity, things, the cost of living is going to come down.
Yeah.
Why? It is because they had a time to sit. Even when people have tried, you see, even the opposition,
Yeah.
they have tried actually to speak about that issue of UGA. But how many times now are you hearing people talk about it? It is not even the big thing that people are talking about. What the government is doing is trying to see which region can we support in terms of the food
So
program.
that it supplies everybody.
Yes, it surprises
And
everybody.
it drives it down.
It drives it down.
Yeah.
So you can see now, those are the things we are saying. As long as it is a common front. If you look at the president, he has been very consistent, especially on some few matters. Even if you try to push him like that, because he already know where he is taking the people, you will not really put him out of that. And he has told, the other time he said, guys, we promised you, within the 100 days, we'll do 1, 2, 3 things. But the same president, actually, he looked at the issues and he talked to the people. And he told them, this thing was deep. And therefore, because where we thought we are, it is a little bit deep. We may take a little bit more time.
Yeah.
And actually, he said, did you hear a lot of, hula baru? I mean, people
making, I don't know.
It wasn't. Why? We are saying it is because there is something that we are seeing in terms of the reason.
They are working
towards something.
Yeah.
And that is now the goal. And that's why we are saying oriented, that is
the
goals-oriented leaders.
Yes.
So you can give a very good example about the president. Actually, you can see where the president is. Right now, he has come from Egypt.
Yeah.
What happened in that place? He has been able to secure almost $500 billion in terms of, grants, development.
Yeah.
In terms of this climate.
Investment, actually. They said it is investment money.
Correct.
Yeah.
In terms of the climate change and all these kind of things. So you can see.
And one thing that he has done also, he has opened up like South Africa for Kenyans.
Yes.
That now, I've queued so many times. Every time I'm traveling to South Africa.
Correct.
I have to queue for visa. My host has to send documents and all that.
Yes.
But now, if I have any business in South Africa, I just need to fly there. And there is no need for visa. Correct. And that, I think that is from January.
You have now hit it well.
Yes.
You have really made me happy by saying that. Can I tell you? And that's why it is good we were talking about the SWOT.
Yes.
That is an opportunity.
Do
you know what you are talking about has been happening in Tanzania for a long time?
Okay.
There is a time I went to South Africa also.
Yeah.
And we went with my friend from Tanzania.
Yes.
When we went to the airport, because our flight was going to be delayed, and they said that I had to stick in the airport for several hours.
Because of visa?
Yes. I couldn't go out. This guy from South Africa, from Tanzania.
He just walked you through.
I was going to Germany. He went out and he came almost the time we were actually boarding the flight to Germany.
Oh.
You can imagine the way we went to see the city and every other thing.
Yeah.
Me, I was just there.
Stuck at the airport.
I get my phone, I look at the internet, I get tired, I sleep, and all these kind of things. So you can see him, what he has done in terms of the president. He has looked at some of the good things that are happening in our neighboring country.
Yeah.
And he says, why should Tanzania have access and not Kenya?
Yeah.
And you can see what he is doing is actually opening up. And these are the things we are saying. If all the leaders can now follow this good example, I'm telling you, Kenya would be a good country to live in.
Wow, wonderful. Now, we have already dealt with the SWOT, and we know what the cabinet secretaries need to do, not only them, but leaders generally. And we talked about the posture.
Yes.
Maybe in conclusion, we need to talk about concrete steps that maybe a leader coming into office needs to do to make sure that is on the path of achieving goals. Maybe there may be many concrete steps, but we can deal with only 4 or 3, whichever time we have.
Yes.
With the time that we have, we can deal with whichever that we are able to deal with.
Correct.
What are some of the concrete steps? You have come into a new office. You have a new responsibility resting upon your shoulders. Concrete steps that you need to take in order to be.
What do you start for? What do you start for?
Okay.
Because people are doing what they are doing because there is no values. And there is another thing which we call the mission statement.
The mission.
Actually, the mission.
What are you up to?
Correct. That is actually when we are saying achieving the goals.
Yes.
The mission is actually going to tell us how fast can we achieve those goals. So the number one, and it should be there.
Yes.
And this is we challenge ourselves, Reverend.
Organization.
Organization. If you get to an organization and you don't see a mission which is written,
a vision,
a mission
and
values.
Core values. Yes.
If you find an organization which is not having that, start questioning.
Yes.
You start questioning because they are chasing the weed.
Yeah.
Every day that you wake up, you should actually be able to recite. Look at what is it I am mandated to do, and at what particular time am I supposed to do it.
And Bible has said you write it down.
Yes, you write it down, and they have said it in simplicity. It must be clear.
They may understand those who run with it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And therefore, that is where now you are saying the implementation. Because if you don't put it down, and that's why we are saying the steps, we will continue with them. We would rather dwell with this first step.
Yes.
And then we will now go.
Because it's first things first.
It is the first things first.
Yes.
You are saying there are people who are going to learn with your vision, and they must buy in.
Yeah.
If you have a vision, really, like the vision that you had for building a cathedral, you actually wrote it down, and you knew exactly what you want to do. You drew, you sat down, you drew, you started drawing and saying,
I pinned it somewhere.
You pinned it somewhere.
Yeah.
Such that I remember even when we were coming for the meetings, we could actually refer and we say, this is how the roof is going to be like. So it is clear in the minds of the people. So actually, even if they are not seeing it now, they can see this is what we are going to
that's
have
what
in
we
the
are working
future.
towards. Yes.
So they will put off their energies because there is what they can see. And that is the first step. And make sure that people can learn with that.
Wow.
And that is actually the implementations of the goals. That
step
is
number one.
That is the step number one.
Yes.
Step number two is where you set deadlines. When you started like now building this church, to open this church by
at
this
date.
time. You see?
Yeah.
So what is it that or I am behind? And now when you see you are either behind, there is some things that you say, guys, we need to do this thing.
Yeah.
And that was driving you to be able to rally people and tell them, guys, we are still on course.
Yeah.
We are going to open this church on this particular date.
Yes.
And therefore, you put deadlines.
Yeah.
Specific times. And that's why we said, in fact, if you go to the objectives, we call it the goals, we call them SMART.
Yes.
Which that is also another topic.
Smart
we'll need.
goals,
SMART
yeah.
goals, which
Yeah.
is specific, there is measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound.
And time-bound.
So you see, in terms of time, we are saying there is time. So
Yeah.
you are saying that we would want to do this, because even the government, when they get into the leadership,
Yeah.
they are also within time.
Yeah.
5 years, it is
They are
either
out
you are
of-
going back or you are coming
So whatever
in.
they want to do, they might do
Correct.
within time.
Get to know what
Yeah.
is it that you are going to do, because if you don't do it, you are going to be out of time.
Okay.
So those are some of the things. And the other one, the last one I will only mention because I know of time,
Yeah.
is what we call set the mindset.
The right
The
attitude.
right attitude. And I will just give one statement from also one leader, Barack Obama.
Okay.
Barack Obama, he came up with a slogan and he said, yes, we can. That is powerful, Reverend. You don't know why. Him as a leader, that statement meant everything. It meant Americans, there is nothing that can defeat them. They can. He realized there are some few areas where they will experience some struggles and challenges.
Yeah.
But yes, we can.
Yes.
We can be able to get out of this challenge. We can still attain our goals.
Yes.
So one of the things that before even you do anything, you must set your mind in the right way. In terms of where you are going.
Yes.
This is what will help you. These are the steps. So we have only said step 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
The step number 1 for the vision.
Vision.
Clearing. You set the timeline and you set your mind.
Yeah.
Emotions.
Wow.
So after that, now the other time, we'll be able now to see the emotions themselves. And this is what is going to help us to be able to be goals-oriented leaders.
Wow. We really, I think we are under temptation to dwell there.
Yes.
Because now, you know, it's like you have tipped the iceberg.
Yes.
And it's like we really need to interrogate this, because now I see some, I know, I think why people do not pin, you know, a vision and a mission and core values is because they assume people know what we are doing.
Correct.
But I think this scripture is quite an awakening scripture that people need to see and read aloud.
Correct.
They must know, where are we going, where are we, and I think that was very powerful.
Thank you.
And the vision, there's you know, the selling of the vision to the people that you are leading. And I think that one is very key to leaders that are coming into office. You cannot begin to lead people and tell them this is what we want, and you have not told them where they are going. So they will relax and fail to do what you want, and you feel like these people are against my vision. But it's because they don't quite understand you. So I think new leaders coming into office, you really need to call together your stakeholders and the people that are working for you, and they need to know, where are you going. The second step is
setting the deadlines, the timelines. Timelines. It's actually the timelines.
The timelines.
The timelines.
Yes.
Because every project has some time. And that is the timing, even in terms of constitution.
No, I wanted to us to talk about the mission. The mission. What are we here for? What are we doing? What are we up to? What do we want to achieve? And then how much time do we have to achieve it?
Correct.
Isn't it?
Yes. Now you see, like you see, like the vision itself. It tells you what you want to see at the edge.
The picture.
But what really tells you whether you are going to get it or not is the mission.
Is the mission.
It is what drives.
Okay.
So there are several things that you have to put in place, and I think that is what we'll talk.
And leaders need to be talking to the people they are leading, and the teams and the ministries they are leading. This is what we are up to.
Correct.
This is what we are up to. So everybody must behave themselves, because this is what we are up to.
Yes.
And then the last one, the time,
yes.
This is the much time we have
Correct.
to achieve this thing
Correct.
that we
Yes.
and this is how we are going to do it, and we must do it within this time. Wow, powerful, and it makes us to want to stay here in this studio, but we must give room for other things to continue.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching. David, Kamau,
thank you.